What's good? Okay, I'm back again. I thought something was wrong, so I stopped the broadcast just to start it back over again because I thought that maybe something was wrong because everything was kind of slow. But you know what? We just gonna go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully you've gotten your workout in early this morning and already, got it knocked out. But that's one of the things I love to do. I call it getting in that early morning win. There's nothing like an early morning win because, again, it sets the tone for the rest of your day. It basically says, shoot, I've already accomplished. Even before, even before, now I've already accomplished. I've already knocked out goals. I've already set my objectives. I'm ready to roll. So I set those ends by doing things that set goals early, run early. Yeah, because flows without God. I mean, that's point blank. Everything flows and nothing goes without God. And look, and neither are we dumb enough to attempt to live my life without God. You know me, I love me some God. So those are the two or three things that I do to get those early wins. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, all these gorgeous people. Got Tosh up in the house, Sam up in the house. Hey, beautiful people. Anyway, let me get to talking. To really focus on, lock in on, because I'm going to challenge you. Again, if you're on this page, you understand we live by the creed of all buckets full. It's not enough for you to be fine. You know how many people on watching that one friend, that one person always rely upon dying to get them through, but it just ain't doing nothing for them. It might have got them through high school or maybe through college, but as time went on, the look, started to fade a little bit. They don't quite look the same, and they never develop all of the complete and total skills that makes a person total and makes a person great because they always relied upon their looks, that smile, that banging body. Yeah. We always talk about being total and complete. So not only do we focus on your body, we focus on your spirit, your money, your relationships, your self-esteem, everything that goes on. How you feel about you, how you feel about, your kids, your situation. We focus and we hone in on all of that. You'll hear me say our bucket's full. For the new people that's here, you'll always say our bucket's full because that's the level of success and level of expectations that we have placed on this page, lacking for nothing, absolutely nothing. So you'll hear me talk about that. Our bucket's full, but we want to really get better at being total, being complete, not just being good in one area, but horrible in 4 other areas. That's not complete. There's too many holes in the boat. And if you have a lot of holes in your boat, guess what your boat will do? It will sink on you. Okay, so let me tell you some of the things I want y'all to focus on in terms of the totality of you. Focus on. Okay, first thing I need for you to focus on is I need for you to ignore your old self. Ignore your old self, your former self. See, there's always going to be a battle between your old self and your new self. Because your old self has occupied that area for so long that it doesn't want to relinquish to the newer and more improved version of you. It doesn't want to see the greater self because the old stuff has been sitting so long that it's like, we don't want to handle the new stuff. We good. We good. And it will do everything it can to bless and block you and to stop you from seeing your greater self. It will do stuff like remind you of the last time you tried to do something different. It will remind you of, all those failed relationships. And anytime you get excited, we'll remind you of those other times where you got excited and it just took a nosedive. It will remind you of past transgressions. It will remind you of everything that it needs to remind you just to keep its place in space. Because again, it's trying to occupy you. Because that's where it wants to be. It feels safe. It's been there. The new stuff, exciting, but kind of scary, and it will remind you of that. So ignore the old self, because again, the old self and the new self can't live in the same spot. Think about it like this. If you own an apartment building or if you own rental property, okay, and you got somebody living there, but they're not paying the mortgage. They're not paying the rent. At some point, they gotta go because they ain't paying for nothing. You're not getting a return on your investment, so they gotta go. What happens? You gotta kick them out and make room for the new tenant who's gonna pay you monthly, on time, produce great stuff. A great tenant who won't give you headaches, won't cause you problems. See, you need to kick out the old version of you. You need to wave it away. Tell it goodbye because, again, it's not producing nothing. It's not paying the bills. Nothing personal. But it's not producing nothing. And it's got to go to make room for the new tenant. The new tenant. We like the new tenant because it pays on time. It's producing something. It's not giving you headaches. You're happy to see the new tenant. They got a good attitude about it. Number two, in terms of things you have to become your total person, the greater version of you. Second thing I need for you to focus on. Take the parking brake off. Stop braking. Have you ever driven behind somebody who would always brake? You get a little speed going, you listen to your jam, then they brake. They drive slow, then they brake again. Anytime they get a little fast, they just brake. They brake every few feet, and it disturbs everything, and it makes your travels horrible. Makes for a bad experience. You probably turn down your radio, turn down your jams, probably start cussing, pushing the bad mood because the person in front of you is affecting your ride because they're braking. And see, that's what you're doing. Anytime you get ready to try something new, you start braking until eventually you park the car. And then, not until you see something that inspires you want to start again. But if you're always braking and then you're always parking, guess what? You never will arrive to your destination on time. It's kind of like having a dinner reservation at 8 o'clock at night, but you never are able to ever arrive because you're braking. Then you park, then you miss your reservation. Because keep in mind, your blessings. You have a certain window of time to achieve your greatness. You have a certain time period where you have to be at a certain destination to receive your stuff. Time waits on nobody. Time waits on nothing. It's kind of like the equivalent of a person being 55 years old and being like, you know what? I want to try to be in the NFL. No, you won't, because you're old. Your time has passed you. The window of time, for which you were supposed to be training for, was 18 to 22. You're 55. started. So, you've missed your window. Do not miss your window of time because you were a breaker. You rode around with your parking brake on and you never arrived to your destination. Really, really, really work on those two things. Ignore your old self because it wants to stay and don't want to go. And take the parking brake off. Stop braking. Like how people say, she has arrived. So really, I'm really going to push you in your life because I see you. I know you. The great thing about, be somebody's hope is that you see the greatness in people, you see the potential in people, but you also see the flaws. And you also see where people can get better. You also see where folks are fearful and where that fear might be actually crippling them. That a person who's fearful could be doing decent, but will never reach their goals. They will never attain the level of greatness they were supposed to because they were always riding around with their parking brakes on. Just brake it. And then park. Brake. Drive a little bit. Oh, I'm scared. Let me park it. Boom. Stop doing it. You have greatness in you. But again, as my shirt, the shirt that I wore last week said it best, you have to learn how to press past yourself. And a lot of people's kryptonite are the things that they're used to. It could be bad or it could be decent, but you're used to bad. You've grown accustomed to decent. You've grown accustomed to average when you're meant to live a greater life. You're meant to have everything that you've imagined, but again, when you settle, you never see it because again, you got your parking brake on. Take the brakes off. Take the parking brake off. Just ride around with no brakes on. Go as fast as you can. At least if you go somewhere fast, you'll arrive there faster than if you were just punching the brakes every time you got a little uncomfortable. Let me just park this thing on the side of the road. I can't even drive this thing. Stop being afraid. I always remember faith and fear can't live in the same spot. That's kind of like the analogy that I use for your old self versus your new self. Again, faith and fear occupy the same spot. Your old person and your greater self and your newer self can't live in the same spot. Somebody or something has to go. So keep that in mind. So those are the two things I need you to focus on when being your total and complete self. Ignore the old self. Ignore those reminders of all the times that you fail and take the parking brake off. Stop braking. Go forward. Just go for it. Life is too short to be playing it safe. Life is too short to be breaking. And most importantly, life is too short for you to be blocking you because of what you're used to, what you're comfortable with. You're comfortable with being average. You're comfortable with settling. It's time for you to stop being comfortable not becoming the person you were destined to be. So let's go get it. Stop settling. Let's go get it. All buckets full. Let's go. Love y'all. Have a great day. Love y'all.